Chapter 2, Introduction to Office Software, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Chapter 2 involves Microsoft Word. As mentioned in Chapter 1, Notepad is an excellent program to use for the creation of short, simple documents that only include text, have no complex formatting. For bigger projects, more complex projects, a more complex program is needed, and Microsoft Word is one of the most widely used word processing programs around. To open Microsoft Word, you click on your Word icon and a Word window opens. The initial Microsoft Word display will include several icons identifying standard document templates that can be used creating a new document. Several icons in the left-hand column and a list of recently edited documents. If you click on one of the entries in the recently edited documents list, that document will be opened for further editing. One of the left column icons is for creating a new document using one of the predefined templates. And there are a number of these. Another is used to search for an existing document. If you click on the Open icon, a new window will open with support for navigation to existing documents for you to open. This window provides quite an extensive list of recently edited documents arranged in order of access, most recently accessed first. The left column also has a Home icon. If you click on this icon, this original Word window display returns. If you click on the New icon, the new window opens. This window displays several different styles of Word documents that you might use. In order to start our example document, we begin by opening Microsoft Word, clicking on the New icon. There are a number of display options. In our example, we're going to use the blank document icon. This opens the blank editing screen. Word allows us to adjust, select page size, height and width of the paper that the document is designed to be printed on, and width of the margins. These controls are found in the Layout tab ribbon. Layout tab, margins, and page document size. In the initial editing screen, we're going to see a paragraph symbol and a blinking vertical line beside it. Paragraph symbol, blinking vertical line, and, of course, a cursor, mouse cursor. The paragraph symbol and the blinking vertical line, there's also going to be a mouse cursor somewhere on the screen as well. The paragraph symbol is a non-printing character. As when we print a physical version of the document, it won't display. The blinking line is the insertion pointer, marking the position where data entry takes effect. As we type letters, the letters will appear on the screen at the insertion pointer. Our example, when all of the text is entered, is going to look something like this. I'm not going to make you watch me type all of that. We will come back to it shortly. I'll do it offline. You notice in that previous example that the initial lines of several of the other lines end in the symbol, the paragraph break symbol, and that there are dots between the words. Ending in the paragraph break, and there are dots between the words. Have another paragraph break down here, another paragraph break. These symbols, the dots, paragraph breaks, are non-printing characters. They're used for formatting. Non-printing characters or formatting marks, characters entered in the text. They identify the design, content display design. They don't get displayed when the content is printed. They control the format. They control the way that the text is displayed or printed, but they don't in themselves create a character display. The most common of these formatting marks are the paragraph break, the space, a tab symbol, and a line break. Now, lots of people don't like to have those formatting characters displayed while they are typing or entering data. They prefer that what's displayed on the screen would be the way it would look when it was printed. If you decide you like that, you can suppress the display of the formatting characters. First, you find the home ribbon. Have the home ribbon displayed. And then you find the show hide button. When that show hide button has a shaded background, then non-printing characters will be displayed. As in this case, it has a shaded background and we can see the formatting characters. If you click on the button, its background will change to white and the non-printing characters will not display. If you click on the white background button, its background will change back to shaded and the non-printing characters will reappear. This button is a toggle. It changes from one state to the other, displayed to hidden to displayed to hidden. Clicking on it will change from one state to the other. In our example, the first lines, the name and address of Jimmy Jobseeker, the guy who's sending the letter, are all at the left side of the page. Now, names and addresses of this type are traditionally located in the middle of the page. In order to move this text to the center of the page, we first select the text we're going to be moving. Put the mouse pointer at the beginning of the text, click, then put the pointer at the end of the text and shift click. That should highlight, select the text. Beginning, end. Next, we locate the center content icon in the home ribbon. Clicking on that icon moves the selected text to the center of the page, makes it center justified. The text is justified, the selected text is left justified. We want it to be center justified. The different lines in the name and address section look a little bit far apart. Technically, these different lines are not different lines, they're different paragraphs. And it's because they're separated by paragraph separation character. We can replace these paragraph separators with line separators. Place the pointer at a paragraph separator, click to locate the data cursor at that point, press the delete key, press the shift key and enter the shift and enter key, shift enter, and that will put a soft break, a line separator. Of course, the addressee field should have a similar format. So here, delete, shift enter. Delete, shift enter. Delete, shift enter. Delete, shift enter. Delete, Shift-Enter. We can also simply select and Shift-Enter. It's common to display the return address, the address of the sender, at the top of the letter with different appearance than the text in the rest of the document. To change the font face of a section of text, you select the section, and then in the Home ribbon, you click on the down arrow beside the font name. In the menu that appears, you scroll down to the appearance that you want and select that font. In the Home ribbon, you can also select or adjust the size of the text, the color of the text, and font style, bold, italicized, and underlined. It's customary to include a date on the letter. In the Insert ribbon, there's an icon for inserting the current date into a document at the place indicated by the insert pointer. As you can see here, there are quite a few different options for formats for the date. Insert ribbon, date time, and here are numerous options. The date is traditionally positioned on the right, at the top of the letter on the right. The right justification can be done in the paragraph section of the Home ribbon. Home ribbon, right justification. When you finish the document or just want to stop working on it for a while and come back later, you can save it to disk, to secondary storage. If you're working on a document that's already been saved previously, you can save your modified, updated version by clicking on the Save icon in the upper left corner of the screen. Here. If the document has not been saved, you will start to initiate the saving new document process by clicking on a File tab and then Save As from the list of options in the left-hand column of the page. The File tab and Save As. From the Save As page, you can assign a name to the document. Here, in this case, name application letter. And you can choose a directory where you want to save the document. You click on the directory line, as I did, just above the name block, and in the window, you can navigate to a directory where you want to save the document. Your Save As page also gives you the option to save it in a different format from the default. Here we have option of saving it as a docx, as a docm, a doc, docx, PDF, HTML, RTF, text, and many others. Microsoft Word supports, as we just saw, many different file formats. 4 are particularly important. DocX is the default format for Microsoft Word, and it's probably the one to go with if you're working in Microsoft Word and don't have any particular reason to choose another one. Although there is a difficulty if you're storing it in DocX using a text editing program other than Microsoft Word might cause problems. PDF is a file format developed by Adobe to present documents, including text, images in a way that's independent of application software, hardware, and operating systems. It's a generic format. A document stored in PDF format generally requires less storage space than the same document in docx of a similar appearance. The PDF format was designed to reproduce the appearance of documents, not to facilitate editing. RTF is a file format that does include all of the formatting controls that docx supports. Most word processors can read and write RTF files. So if people are using an Apple computer or some other text editing program, RTF might be a good choice. If you're going to share it with people expecting to make modifications and might not be using Microsoft Word, RTF is a good choice. RTF generally produces larger files than a docx format. Text is the standard text format that contains unformatted text. It's recognized by any text editing or word processing program and can also be processed by other software programs. Text files are useful for storing information in plain text with no special formatting beyond basic fonts and font styles. It's commonly used for recording notes, directions, and other similar documents that don't need to have any particular appearance control. Within the body of a document, there are two traditional ways to separate paragraphs: indenting and spacing. They're not the only ways to identify paragraph separation, but they are by far the most common. Control these characteristics, as well as several others, using the paragraph dialog box. Open the dialog box by first selecting the text in the paragraph whose characteristics you want to control, and then clicking on the little arrow at the bottom right corner of the paragraph section. Paragraph is in the Home ribbon. When we open the paragraph dialog box, it displays several boxes which provide controls for several characteristics of the selected paragraphs. The spacing control boxes allow you to require each affected paragraph to have blank space above and or below. How much space you use will depend on the size of the text in the paragraphs. Larger text generally requires more space to signal beginning of a new paragraph. As a general rule, 6 points or 8 points is reasonable. A point is a measure traditionally used to describe font sizes in printed documents. A point is 1/72nd of an inch. In this example, we have set them to the distinct difference between paragraphs to be 8 points. As an alternative to putting extra space between your paragraphs, you might choose to indent the first line of each paragraph. The special box allows you to do that. Special. We can set first line or hanging. In this case, this example, the paragraphs are indented 2/10 of an inch, first line of each paragraph. First line indentation was very common when manual typewriters were common, and fine control of vertical positioning was relatively difficult. Not so common. First line indentation is not quite so widely used anymore. Using both paragraph spacing and first line indentation is considered overkill. In our example, the fictional author Jimmy Jobseeker doesn't seem to understand that. In our example here, the paragraphs are indented and also separated. In the body of our example letter, you'll notice that a number of the words are underlined red or blue. These markings identify words or phrases that might be misspellings or grammatical errors. Red, potential misspellings. Here I have a blue one, which is a potential grammatical error. Red underlinings mark words that the Microsoft Word system has identified as possible spelling errors. What it does, it marks any word that it does not find in its dictionary. In this example, most of the words marked in red are names. You, of course, don't expect to find a name in a dictionary. Okay. Name of a university, name of a city, job giver, megacorp, another city, comp rep, comprep, GPA. It marks GPA, which is not found in most dictionaries, but certainly the term that he would want to use. In other words, you should treat these identifications as suggestions, not as commands. Blue underlines mark probable grammatical errors. Okay. In our example letter, blue lines identify possible errors in the use of commas. Again, blue lines are suggestions, not commands. If we right click on an underlined word or phrase, it'll open up a window with suggestions how the problem might be improved. In the example, we have a comprep is not in the word dictionary. It's the name of the recipient. But right clicking on that gives us options compreg, camper, compare. Right clicking on study, comma, and suggests that maybe it would be better to eliminate the comma. Right click, spelling job giver, non-giver, forgiver, ogive. Of course, none of those are right clicking on apparently comma, double check whether we want to have a comma there. Actually, it's right click, apparently no comma. Mr. Okay. Mr. Job Seeker is prefers it that preserves it as it stands. A Word document can also include an image as well as text. Mr. Job Seeker might decide that his letters should have a logo in the letterhead. He could obtain a picture, an image, by by clicking on the Insert tab and clicking on the Pictures image icon in the Insert ribbon. A navigation window opens and he can navigate to the directory where his image might be. Insert pictures from this device. Navigate And here is an image, medusa.ping, insert. Note that Jimmy does have, if you read the letter, you'll see Jimmy does have a thing for snakes. Selecting the appropriate image, clicking on the Insert button, and the selected image is inserted at the data insertion point. This, however, is not the way Jimmy wants the logo to be positioned. He wants the image over on the left. In order to reposition the image, can right-click on the image to open the menu, and select Wrap Text, and from the submenu, check the In Front Of option. Right-click, Wrap Text, In Front Of, and drag it over to the side. With the In Front Of text selected, the image can be dragged to the appropriate location. If a document has been saved, it can be reopened later for re-editing. In our example, if Jimmy Jobseeker doesn't get any response to his application, he might decide to send a follow-up. And since he has a copy of this earlier letter and it has the names and addresses in place, his name and his address and his logo and the recipient and his address, Jimmy might start writing his follow-up letter by opening a copy of the earlier letter and editing it rather than just entering everything again. He can open an existing document by clicking on the folder icon, and in the taskbar and dialog box that opens, navigate to the directory that has the file. Application letter. Now to open the file, if it's a docx file, you can just double click on it and Microsoft Word will open the file for editing. You could also right-click on the entry, and you get a menu, several options. One of them is open, which would be the same thing as double clicking. Or open with, another option, which gives you several options as to which word processing program you want to use. In this case, you could choose Word. So I could double click on application letter, docx, or I can right click on it and I have open, and I also have open with. Open with gives us options of Word or search for another program to edit. After loading a copy of the initial letter, Jimmy can edit the body of the letter to a content appropriate for a follow-up letter. He might decide that his arguments would be more effective if he presented them in the form of a bulleted list. To change the formatting of active, that is, selected paragraph to bulleted list format, he would click the bullet icon in the paragraph section of the home ribbon. Home ribbon paragraph. Select the section. Click on the bullet icon. This converts the formatting of the selected paragraphs to bullet format. Notice that the right end in the main paragraph, the ends don't align. Mr. Job Seeker might decide that he prefers his paragraphs to be fully justified. When we say fully justified, or if we just say justified, that means all of the lines, except for the first and last, begin in the same column and end in the same column. To justify a paragraph, he selects the paragraph, puts the data entry cursor in the paragraph in question, then clicks on the justify icon in the paragraph section. Click and justify. Notice now the ends, the lines end in the same column. This justifies the selected paragraph. Microsoft Word includes several features for helping users. Most of them only work if you have internet access. Several of them are in the References ribbon. Clicking on the Reference tab displays the References ribbon. And there are a number of icons in the ribbon that provide information a writer might want to reference. There's the search icon, the researcher icon, and the acronyms icon. Search icon searches for definitions, images, web pages, results from various online sources. The researcher icon lets you find quotes, citable sources, and images. The acronyms icon displays definitions found for acronyms in the document. Another ribbon is the Review ribbon. The Review ribbon provides a number of services: spelling and grammar checking, and a thesaurus, and a translation service. The Help ribbon displays a number of options. There's the Help icon that opens a column, a help column, where you can enter things that you want information about. And there's a customer support icon where you can request information from Microsoft customer support.